What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the fifth quarter. We just wrapped up week 11 of the NFL season. We got another great show for you guys. But before I get into that, I have a message from Fredonia. Tune in to High Noon Friday, SUNY Fredonia's longest running variety radio program, airing every Friday at noon. High Noon Friday features campus, local, and national news, sports, weather, student main segments, and trivia. Be sure to tune in to either WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5 every Friday at noon. It's a great show. I've listened to it. One of our hosts, Matt Volz, is on the show. Speaking of which, I am Mitch Horucy, and this is normally the time where the other two hosts introduce themselves, but they are tailgating right now. So I'm the only one on the show, so you guys get to listen to me talk for an hour straight, because what is better than that? I don't think there's anything better. So we'll get right into it. We're going to start off with the Bills-Broncos game that kicks off in about an hour from now. So we're going to hit some keys of victory, what I think the Bills should do, some predictions. So the Bills go into this game 5-4, looking to turn around what's been a lackluster season so far for what a lot of people would say. I don't think a lot of people had the Bills out of a playoff spot going into Week 11. The Bills, like I said, are 5-4. The Broncos come into the game at 3-5. So some keys to victory for the Bills. I think this is a big one. It's very basic. We say this almost every game. Just don't turn the ball over. We saw what happened against the Bengals. We had a couple costly turnovers, and was probably the biggest reason we lost that game outside of the offense just being the offense that we've apparently become accustomed to. Very underwhelming. So yeah, just don't turn the ball over. Don't give them easy touchdown. Don't make it easy for them. Make it hard. The Broncos are not that good of a team. Don't make it any easier for them. And then on the contrary, we need to turn them over. The team is 20th in turnovers on the year. They don't turn the ball over an alarming amount, but this should be a team that you should be able to turn over. And speaking of that, I think we need to get Russell Wilson shaken up early into the game. I think we need to get a sack, get an interception early, fumble. Just get Russ shaken up. Obviously we saw what happened last year when he had by far the worst year of his career. This year he's putting together, a lot of people aren't talking about it, a very solid season after, again, last year was embarrassingly bad, I'll say. He got 1,600 yards on the year, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's not turning the ball over as much. He's just having a very solid season. He's not the Russ Wilson that we knew in the past, but he's playing better than he did. But like I said, we need to get him shaken up, get him off balance, off rhythm, have him be uncomfortable and in the pocket. Pass rush need to get after him today. We need a big game out of Vaughn, big game out of Groot, and our interior defensive line have played well this year. They need to also get after it. They have a solid rushing attack. Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, and Jalen McLaughlin. They have been good this year. Been a big Javonte Williams truther after he came back from that ACL injury. So I just think we need to slow them down, make Russ, get them behind the sticks, get them into very obvious passing down, and make it hard for them. Make the receiver beat you one-on-one. Granted, that will be kind of difficult seeing we are without our 1B or 1A, as you say it, now that we have Rasul Douglas. You don't have a clear cornerback one, but Christian Benford is out tonight. Same with Micah Hyde. Also on that note, Terrell Bernard is active tonight, so that is big. So I just think we need to get Russ behind the sticks. Now, on the contrary for the Bills, just be yourself. Just be what the Buffalo Bills are. The past 3 years, really, we've had an identity, and for some reason this year we've lost it. Just be the Buffalo Bills you know how to be. Get yourself in some tempo. Get Josh going early. Get him a couple quarterback-designed runs. Get some easy passes. Get him into the game. He always says he likes to get hit. He likes to, get outside the pocket to get him into the game, get him going. Get that first drive. We saw it last week, and it worked out well. First drive, we went tempo, had some quarterback runs. Get Josh into the game early. Get everyone involved. Spread the ball around. Get Diggs early. Gabe Davis put up a donut last week, had 0 catches. Get Gabe involved early. Last time we were at home in primetime, Gabe Davis had a huge game. We used him in ways that I've never seen us use him before. Get that going. We all know Dalton Kincaid will be a focal point. He's had a very solid stretch. Um, so yeah, just get everyone involved. Get James Cook, obviously, get the run game going. So yeah, just be the Bills that we know and that they know they can be. They've all talked about it. They know they have that. They've been struggling to find an identity. They just have to get back to the basics. Really, they've all talked about it. Just get back to the basics. And then for the defense, I think you need to get the crowd into this game early. I don't want to say they're losing the crowd because it's Buffalo. They're never going to give up on this team, but there's people starting to get skeptical. They're starting to question Sean McDermott more than they've ever had before. They're starting to question. I mean, we've already been questioning him, but starting to question Ken Dorsey. Where is this team really going? Get the crowd in early. Get them loud. Get them excited. Just the Monday night game is perfect weather. This is as good as you can get for a Monday night game or a night game in Buffalo in mid-November. High 40s, no precipitation. Did I say that right? Precipitation. Yeah, I did say that right. Tough word. Minimal wind, but with Buffalo, you're never going to have no wind, especially in November at night. This is a game to get the fan back into it. This is a game to say, hey, we're going to figure things out. Josh just said, they had some press conferences earlier in the week. He said, we play the best. You look at the past, they were 7-6, went on to win 5 straight games. They're at their best when their back is against the wall, when everyone's counting them out. Buffalo has really grown on that. Everyone's counting them out. Everyone writes off Buffalo, just as the city as a whole. But the team especially, no one has faith in them, blah, blah, blah. That is when they play the best. They should buy into that tonight. Everyone's counting them out. Why turn on any sports show, any radio show? Oh, the Bills are done. The Bills need to blow everything up. No. Shut everyone up. Be the Bills that you know you can be. And I had this in here too. Play the football that everyone knows you can play. Get the ball going. Get the ball out quick. Let Josh Allen be Josh Allen on defense. Rally around the ball. Create turnovers. Get Russ uncomfortable. Just play how we should play. Execute. With that being said, my final score for tonight, prediction. I think the Bills win 34-16. I think we have a good game. I think Josh has a big game. I think, like I mentioned it with what I hope they do, I think they spread the ball around pretty well. I think this team finds their identity. I think they find their rhythm again. I think they have a very tough schedule coming up. They have a lot of very good, very good team coming up. They play home game versus the Jets next week at a 4:25 national game. That's no gimme without the Jets that I'm playing. At the Eagles, at the Chiefs, home versus the Cowboys, at the Chargers, home versus the Patriots, at the Dolphins. That is a gauntlet to end the year. It's now or never to find your rhythm. This is it. This is back against the wall. It's all or nothing. So I think tonight they go out, they get a statement, win on national television. I think they remind everyone who they are. I think Josh Allen reminds everyone who he is. He should be in the MVP race. Everyone's counting him out just how the team is doing. I think he puts himself back into that MVP race. I think he has a big game. I think maybe 4 total touchdowns, 3 in the air, 1 on the ground. And I think this is a big game for Buffalo. I think we get it back. That being said, I could very well see this going the other way and it just not being a fun day for the Bills. But that's my personal prediction. That's what I think can happen. Now, moving on to NFL action that we saw yesterday. We're going to start off with the Texans and the Bengals, which was a surprisingly, I don't even know if I can say surprisingly, but a great game in the AFC. We had the Texans improve to 5-4, and the Bengals fall to 5-4. 30-27 win for the Texans on the road in Cincinnati. Now, C.J. Stroud we said it last week after he had maybe the best rookie performance in a game ever. He's that guy. He is that guy. Granted, he had 3 turnovers. One of them is a botched snap on a 4th and 1. You like to see him, get the snap off and at least run the play. But, and then another one, sack, fumble. You can only do so much. I feel like with those, you can only limit the quarterback so much, especially if it's on the blind side like it was. he had his first probably real rookie mistake, I'll say, with the interception when they were trying to run the clock down. They're up 2 scores at this point, and really bad interception to I can't remember who picked it off, but very good or very not very good, very bad interception. Made a bad read. Cam Taylor-Britt, I hate that guy, but yeah, just a bad read that rookies have made that he hasn't made so far this year. This is probably the first one that you can watch this film and say, all right, that's a rookie mistake. Yeah, he had a game-winning drive, took the field. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak tonight. Took the team down in a minute 33. Had to go the whole length of the field to set up a 38-yard field goal for a backup kicker, Matt Amendola. Their starting kicker got hurt last week. Set up a very easy field goal for their team to win, and now they're in not only the playoff race, they can win their division. They're currently second. They're half a game behind Jacksonville. Jacksonville got destroyed yesterday. Jacksonville 6-3. We'll get to that later in the show. Jacksonville 6-3. Houston 5-4, and Houston beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville. So they're half a game behind, and they had the tiebreaker over Jacksonville. And Indianapolis is right there too. They're 5-5. But Houston, they can really go on a run. And then on the contrary, Cincinnati, they fall to 5-4, and all of a sudden, when everyone thought they were going to be back to the Cincinnati Bengals that we know, they're 5-4 and they're last in the AFC North, who has been the best division in football. Which also I have this in my note that it is not ideal for the Bills that all of the AFC North is this good. It's just going to be a dogfight. We could possibly see all 4 AFC North teams get into the playoffs, which would just be, I think it's been done before. NFC East didn't have everyone last year, but it has been done before. And it just would not be good for the Bills. Since the Bengals already had the tiebreaker over the Bills, they would be behind the Bengals in standing if they finish with the same record. The only positive thing that could happen is they knock each other out, since they all have division games left. They all have to play each other a lot still, so they can knock each other out. But again, yeah, just not ideal for the Bills. And yes, CJ Stroud, that guy, he is, unless he forgets how to play football over the last 8 weeks of the season, he is Offensive Rookie of the Year. You could even go as far, I don't know if I put him there yet, but you could put him in the MVP race, which is just ridiculous to think about. But he has 15 touchdowns, 2,600 yards to 2 interceptions. His team is winning games, a team that a lot of people didn't think should be winning games. And he's putting their team in a spot to win. We saw it last week. And 33 seconds, went down, set up a game-winning field goal. He's not turning the ball over. He's putting his team in position to win. And when he has to, he's balling out. Obviously, we saw it this week. We saw it last week. His only real, I guess you could say, stinker was against Carolina, which, that is probably, you got to win that. But again, he's a rookie. He's just having, I keep going back to the stats and looking at the Justin Herbert rookie year, but he is just as good, if not better, than that Justin Herbert rookie year. And I think when it's all said and done, I think that that CJ Stroud will have a better rookie year than Justin Herbert. Now we'll keep it moving. Stay in the AFC North, in the AFC, but more specifically the AFC North. We saw a thriller that a lot of people, I think, thought was going to be a defensive battle. We saw a thriller in Baltimore. The Browns improved to 6-3, and the Ravens fall to 7-3 with a final score of 33-31. Browns get a big win on the road, big divisional win in Baltimore. And I was watching this game. I don't even know what happened. Just got a text from Parker saying the tailgate vibes are immaculate in Orchard Park right now, so I just want to throw that out there. So, Drew also. I know Drew's tailgating right now. He's tuning in. I hope you're having a good time, Drew. Thank you for tuning in. But back to this game. I mean, first of all, you look at the box score. I have no idea how this game was as high scoring as it was. Well, I can tell you why, because there were 2 pick sixes. But, I mean, Deshaun Watson had, at this point, it's a good game for him. 20 for 34, 213, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which it's unfortunate that is a good game for Deshaun Watson when you gave him the biggest guaranteed contract in NFL history, which, it's just very funny that this is a good game for him. And then their ground game, 36 for 178, 1 touchdown. Also, why did they have to give the touchdown to Kareem Hunt? I'm playing him in fantasy. There was just no need. Jerome Ford was way better than Kareem Hunt yesterday. I don't know why they don't just give it to him. But that is my frustration coming out for fantasy football. Liam Duggan, I hate you. You're not winning the back-to-back-to-back champ. You will not be the champ. But, yeah, I really just don't know how to feel about this game. It made no sense. Lamar, I had this in my notes as well. Lamar MVP talk needs to stop. He's not the MVP. Yeah, his team is winning. Well, was winning. They're still 7-3. They're first in AFC North. They're up on, realistically, they're first, obviously, but they have a game played over Pittsburgh and Cleveland, who are both 6-3. So once that bye week hits for Baltimore, they can drop all the way to third in standings. But yeah, Lamar yesterday, 13 for 23, 223 yards, a touchdown, an interception. Just not great numbers. And I mentioned this last week. It seems like every time the Ravens have a big game, he just doesn't put up stats, which is super, super weird because he's Lamar Jackson. But he just wasn't all of that. OBJ had 1 catch for a 40-yard touchdown outside of a 39-yard rushing touchdown from Keaton Miller. Also, he had 3 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown, and his longest run was 39 yards, which means he carried the ball for 39 yards, and then on his 2 other carries, he had a total of -5 net yards, which is just hilarious. Yeah, they had 106 yards on the ground, but for them, that's not good. They should be doing better than that. Yeah, like I said, Lamar threw a pick late in the game that was really a game changer. They were up 31-17. Should have been milking the clock out. Lamar threw the ball that gets tipped up in the air. Greg Newsome takes it for 6, and all of a sudden Cleveland back in the game. And not only were they back in the game, they won the game. Also, shout out Roquan Smith. When I was going through the box score and I was looking at these stats to put this together, Roquan Smith had 21 tackles. 14 of them were solo tackles. So shout out Roquan Smith, because that is a crazy stat line. 21 tackles in a game, that's ridiculous. There's starting cornerbacks that don't have more than 21 tackles on the year. And he just had 21 in one game. Shout out Roquan Smith. He's still overrated, though. He's not as good as people think. And yeah, like I said, I'll talk about the Bengals. And at AFC North, it's a dogfight. There's no other way to put it. Somehow, some way, Pittsburgh is 6-3. I don't. Mike Tomlin is doing voodoo magic down there in Pittsburgh in the Steel City, because I don't understand how they're 6-3. But they're winning games, which is all that matters. Also, I saw this today. Kenny Pickett, he had 13 career starts. Or no, he has, 13 career wins. Oh, wow. That's a voice crack. Anywho, 13 career wins, 13 career touchdowns, 13 career interceptions. Throwing it out there. Kenny P. Gotta get it together, man. Gotta get it together. This defense is too good for you to be this lackluster. Now we'll keep it moving. But before I keep it moving, I have a message from Fredonia.
Jackson DeCarlo here. You're listening to 88.9 FM.
The voice of Fredonia.
And we are back. That was a very short one. So now we'll keep it moving. The Lions and the Chargers had a shootout game, which was amazing to watch. This was the highlight of the late slate Red Zone. For all my Red Zone watchers out there, this was amazing. It seemed to be on the TV every 2 seconds. Lions improved to 7-2 on the year, and the Chargers fall to 4-5 with a final score of Lions 41 and the Chargers 38. The Lions are for real, and we've said it in the past. This isn't anything new, but the Lions are for real. They are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They're a legitimate NFC contender. They know how to win games. They showed they can win games in defensive battles. We saw Kansas City that was 20-19. They can play some defense. They can shut down teams if they need to. And also, when needed to be, they can drop 41. And speaking of that offense dropping 41, Ben Johnson. Yeah, is it Ben Johnson? Yeah, Ben Johnson, who is the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, might be the best play caller in the NFL. Obviously that offense has talent. Obviously, you don't think of talent, you don't think of Jared Goff. But, Jared Goff has had a very good 2 seasons, actually, dating back to last year. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a beast. Also, it had the coolest name of all time. If you didn't know, Amon-Ra means the sun god. So his name is the sun god St. Brown, which is, there's no better name. That's it. That's top one. They got David Montgomery, who's a workhorse. They got Jahmyr Gibbs, my hero in fantasy the past 3 weeks. Finally, they realized that Jahmyr Gibbs is good at football. They got Sam Laporta, who's been a very, very good tight end for them. And then they got some good depth guys. They traded for Donovan Peoples-Jones. I like that trade a lot. I think he's a very solid wide receiver, especially if you're only going to be using him in the 2 or 3 role. I like Khalif Raymond. Yeah, they just have solid players. Marvin Jones stepped away from football, so he's no longer with the team. But they have guys, and we all know that it's the best thing to say as a coach is we got guys. So, yeah, they can hit you from many different ways. They can pound the ball down your throat. You can watch the film from yesterday's game against the Chargers. Every single play, the line of scrimmage moved plus 3 yards in favor for the Lions almost every single play. So, obviously, the Chargers' D-line is not anything to brag for outside of Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, but they were just moving them. And, they ran a trap play. They ran a shotgun trap on a 4th and 5 when they got it. That's just saying, hey, we're the better team. We have the better O-line. We're better than you. We're bigger than you, and we're gonna run it down your throat. And that's what we saw happen. 4th and 5, and they run the ball out of shotgun, mind you, But yeah, and then for the Chargers, Brandon Staley, he's got to go. And I don't want to see any Justin Herbert slander. He was great yesterday. 27 for 40, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Brandon Staley, you look at his stats, he was a defensive coordinator for the LA Rams for 1 year in 2020. When he was the defensive coordinator for the Rams, he was first in total yardage and first in points per game. Now fast forward, because only 3 years, but his 3rd year as head coach, defensive-minded coach, great defensive mind. Also, mind you, the Chargers have the 2nd highest cap hit on defense in the whole NFL. Shout out, part of my take for finding that stat, and also shout out Jack Novak for telling me that stat. So, want to point that out there. 2nd highest cap hit on defense, which means they're paying the highest amount on the defensive side of the ball, the 2nd highest in the NFL. And over the past 3 years, he has had the 23rd, 20th, and this year the 31st defense in the NFL. That's unacceptable. You have no excuse. You have Derwin James. Just go give J.C. Jackson a huge contract, make him one of the highest paid corners in the NFL, and you cut him 2 years into his contract for nothing. That's just, you can't That's unacceptable. Um, Again, you got Joey Bosa, you got Khalil Mack, who has played well this year. You got Kenneth Murray, and I believe the second round linebacker from Oklahoma. He, I don't think he played up to standards. You had Drew Tranquil as your other inside linebacker. Again, they just can't put it together. And I don't know if it's coaching, I don't know if it's the players, but Brandon Staley needs to figure it out because it's embarrassing. And I mean, Justin Herbert signed that huge. Or did he sign a contract? I actually have no idea if he signed an extension. Why can I not remember this? Hold on. Yeah. Over summer, he signed a 5-year deal. If I'm the Chargers, I can't let the prime of my quarterback go because my head coach, who's supposed to be a great defensive mind, can't hold the opposing team to under 41 points at home. It's just unacceptable. I mean, there are some games you can point and you can blame at Justin Herbert. I do understand that. I'm not saying Herbert can do no wrong, but game like that, he puts up 38 and you lose. That's unacceptable as the defensive minded head coach. Now, before we keep it going, we're going to have another quick word from Fredonia while I grab some water because I don't know if you can hear my throat, but for some reason my throat is very dry. So we'll be right back.
Walking through the park, woo, woo.
Fatality.
What was that? Oh no, I forgot.
Test your might.
I have to like and follow Fredonia Radio on Facebook by 11:59 tonight, or else...
Fatality.
No, I need to do it now. This is your sign to do it too, dear listener, or else...
Fatality.
Okay, this is actually getting kind of annoying. Mysterious Mortal Kombat announcer, I liked and followed Fredonia Radio on Facebook, so stop playing that stupid sound, or else...
Fatality.
And we are back. You should also follow the Fredonia radio station on Twitter and Instagram too, because I'm not sure when this was recorded, but not a lot of people use Facebook anymore. So check us out on Twitter and Instagram too, and YouTube while we're at it. Most of these shows record the shows and they put them up on YouTube. So just check us out. Go get us a follow. Throw us a follow. Now, back to the NFL. Like I said, we were going to get to this game later in the show. San Francisco 49ers, West Coast team, decided to take a trip over to Jacksonville and destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, as you just told me, and TikTok. Go follow the TikTok too, because I know everyone uses TikTok. Even the parents that use Facebook, they use TikTok too, like my mom. So just follow us on everything while we're at it. We probably got everything. So yeah, shoot us a follow. Yeah, my mom just texted me, your mom and dad are on Facebook. So check us out on everything. Now, back to NFL. I got carried away there. Yeah, the 49ers destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Score of 34-3. San Francisco put an end to a 3-game losing streak. They're now 6-3, and the Jaguars fall to 6-3 as well. Now, this game was really doomed from the start, honestly. Brock Purdy looked great for the first time in what seems like a while. He had 19 for 26, 296 yards, 3 touchdowns. Again, made it look really easy out there. Didn't turn the ball over. Made the easy reads, obviously, as he always does. And then, their offense, McCaffrey had 95 yards on the ground. Didn't score a touchdown, though, which puts an end to the longest touchdown streak in NFL history. He had 18 straight games with a touchdown, dating back to last year with the touchdown. So, I did face him in fantasy, though, so I appreciate it. But yeah, that's probably the only negative thing that happened yesterday for the 49ers, where Christian McCaffrey did not score. They looked like the 49ers that we watched in the first 6 weeks of the year. They were hitting on all cylinders. Through defense was just amazing. They, how many turnovers? 4 total turnovers for the San Francisco 49ers defense. They got everyone involved. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people with a catch. George Kittle had a big game. He had a really long catch, which not skews his stats, but he had a 66-yarder that he took to the house. And then on the contrary, Trevor Lawrence. It might be time to have a conversation about Trevor Lawrence. I've been saying it. I think people have been overrating him for a while now. Yesterday, obviously, I'm not, 49ers, very good defense, one of the best in the league. It's obviously hard to look good against these guys, but 17 for 29, 185, 0 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a fumble. Like, you're the number one overall pick. You were the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, really. And he has not been good this year. It was all right last year, which is, again, second year in the league, put it together. This is the third year. This year that Josh Allen broke out. This is the year that you put it all together. You have everyone around you. You have a good coach. Your defense has been good this year. They're in an not easy division, but they should be, able to make their way to the playoffs no matter what. And he just has not been the Trevor Lawrence that they want him to be. He has 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and I put that stat in wrong. Okay, he had 9 touchdowns and 10 turnovers in total. 6 interceptions, 4 fumbles. He's fumbled 7 times in total, but he's only lost 4 of them. And yeah, he just he's not been good. He's only got, he got 2,120 passing yards, but he just hasn't been what they've hoped for him to be. He hasn't been a number one pick. He hasn't been the best quarterback prospect over the last 8 years. And I don't know what you can do with him. Obviously, you can't necessarily trade him. You can't get rid of him. You're going to have to find a better option. But this is the year that he is due for an extension. He's due for an extension next summer. After watching the first 9-10 weeks of the year, I don't know if he can give him that extension. I don't know if he can give him a Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson type extension. I just don't think you can. Pardon me. It's going to be very interesting next couple of weeks for the Jaguars. Like I said, their division is tough. It's very, very close. They have half a game up on the Texans, who beat them at home, 37-17, week 3. And their schedule, they got the Titans, should win that. At the Texans, I wanted to say earlier in the year that they should win that, but I don't know if they can anymore. They got the Bengals on Monday Night Football, which I don't even know what's going on with either of those teams. They're at the Browns, that's a tough game. Home versus the Ravens, that's a tough game. At Buccaneers, they've been a frisky team. They can beat some teams. But that's not a gimme. Home versus the Panthers, they should win that when they travel to Tennessee to end the year. The margin for error is just slowly decreasing as the weeks go on. And one more thing about this game before I keep it going, because time is moving very fast. The 49ers, they obviously, they had that 3-game skid, but we're going to learn a lot about the 49ers over the next couple of weeks. They have the Buccaneers next week at home. Then they travel to Seattle on Sunday Night Football. And then they're at the Eagles. And they're home versus Seattle again. So they play them twice in 3 weeks. And they're at the Cardinals, home versus the Ravens, at the Commanders, and home versus the Rams. So they kind of end the schedule off. They have 2 games back-to-back that they should win. But over these next 5 weeks, we're going to find out a lot about this team. If they are as good as we thought they were earlier in the year, and if maybe I'm not going to say they're frauds, but, we're going to find out a lot about them. Now, we got one more NFL game that I'm going to get to quick because I want to get to these college football games. The Vikings and the Saints had a very close and very interesting game. Why is my computer not working? There we go. The Vikings improved to 6-4 which is I don't think anyone saw that coming. And the Saints fall to 5-5 with the final score of 27-19. Derek Carr and Michael Thomas go out with an injury in this game. Both say they're significant, but it's not season-ending, which I don't know what the Saints. I have in here that they are in purgatory or football purgatory. They are not good enough to compete for a title, but their team is not bad enough for them to, rebuild. They're not going to get a top 10 pick, but they're not going to win a title, which is the worst spot to be if you're an NFL team. They were in a very bad cap situation the past couple years that they have gotten out of, which is good. But again, they're just, I don't know what direction that team is in. I think they should rebuild. Kamara, who's been the focal point of that offense for the past 5-6 years, he's, I don't want to say getting up there in age because he's not that old, but he's 28. And we all know how NFL running backs do with age. There's been very few that have been dominant once they hit, 29, 30. I think they should rebuild. I like this coach. The coach has done an all right job, but I think they should rebuild. And then on the contrary, real quick, Joshua Dobbs is the best story in sports, and I don't care what anyone says. He is electric to watch. He posted an amazing TikTok with highlights. His own TikTok page, he posted highlights of himself with the song Higher by Creed. And I just don't think it gets better than that. I don't think it does. Also, this dude has a job at NASA lined up for when he wants to be done with football because that's cool. So he has also the best nickname probably in the NFL right now, the Pastronaut, which is amazing. The Pastronaut, come on. Another one real quick. Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, is my current pick for coach of the year. He has willed this team to wins that I think a lot of people, once Jay Jennings went out, they were 1-4. They were saying, this team should tank. They should get rid of Kirk. They should try to get Caleb Williams or Drake May. And Kevin O'Connell said, you know what? I actually don't care what any of you think. And then he went on to win 5 straight, and they're now 6-4. They're 5-0 without Justin Jefferson, and they're 2-0 with Kirk Cousins. Oh my gosh, without Kirk Cousins. And I mean, they look good, and he has, I think, been the coach of the year so far. Now, a couple college football games in this last 10 minutes of the show. Michigan beat Penn State in Happy Valley, 24-15. Michigan improved to 10-0 in the year. Michigan was without head coach Jim Harbaugh this game and will be without him for the next 3 games as he got suspended for the cheating scandal going on in Michigan, which I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I'm not going to talk about it because that would take up the rest of this show and go into the next show. So I'm not going to talk about it. But, I mean, this Michigan team, they didn't run the ball once, or they didn't throw the ball once in the second half. They came out and ran the ball 32 straight times to end the game. That is dominance. That is, like I was talking about in the Lions game, that is my team is better than yours. You know what we're going to do, and you're not going to stop it. And when a team had that kind of arrogance, that's all it is. We talk about it with Josh Allen, how Josh Allen had that arm arrogance. That's what it is. They know that they're better, and they don't care. They're going to hurt your feelings. They're just going to say, I'm going to run it down your throat. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. Michigan 10-0 on the year. I think they're beatable. I think they're a beatable team. But it's going to be tough, obviously. Obviously, it's going to be tough no matter what. But Penn State has a good defense. That's been the reason they're good. Their offense has been abysmal. The defense is the reason they were 8-1 going into this game. And Michigan made a mockery of it in the second half. When a team can run the ball like that, once it gets into, late in the year, those games that you have to win, that you have to slow the game down, it's going to be really tough to beat them. Especially, when Ohio State have to travel up to Ann Arbor in 2 weeks. It's going to be very, very, very tough. Now, on the contrary, Penn State fall to 8-2. James Franklin, we talked about this when he lost to Ohio State. James Franklin is now 3-17 against teams ranked in the top 10, and 4-16 against Ohio State and Michigan. I think he's gonna move on. It's gonna be hard to find a coach that's better than that. Obviously, he's a good leader. I think he is a good speaker, I guess you could say. But he just hasn't been. You got to win those games. People go to Penn State because they want to win those big games. When you go in every year saying, "Oh, hey, we're going to start off good," and then you get spanked by Ohio State and Michigan, and then you're playing in, I don't even know what bowl they'd be playing in, but they'd be playing in nothing. You're playing in the Duke Mayo Bowl. That's not what people want to go there for. You got to move on. Now keeping it moving, we got 5 minutes left. But speaking of that, I have one last message for you from Fredonia.
You're listening to WCVF 88.9 FM, the voice of Fredonia.
And we're back. That was another quick one. Moving on in college football. Washington improved to 10-0 on the year. They beat the 7-3 Utah Utes 35-28. This was a great win for Washington. If you're watching Game Day, watching Pat McAfee's show, a lot of people were saying Washington hasn't looked great as of late. They squeaked out a win against Oregon at home. A lot of people saying Oregon is better than Washington no matter what. Even though Washington beat them, they think Oregon's the better overall team. Washington comes up with a great win against the ranked Utah team, 35-28. Rome Odunze is the second best wide receiver in college football. He's a beast. He had 2 touchdowns yesterday. He had a final stat line of, not yesterday, Saturday. He had 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's a dog. And for Michigan, they're in a good, or not Michigan, Washington, they're in a good spot. They're 10-0, obviously, and they control their own destiny. They don't need anyone else. I mean, they're number 5 right now, so they're outside looking in. So, yes, they need help getting in. They don't control their own destiny per se, but they're 5-0. Oh, my gosh. They're 5-0. They travel to Oregon State this weekend. That's going to be a tough game. That's a primetime game. Oregon State's a very good football team. But they win that, and then they got the Apple Cup at home. Washington State has fallen off after having a good start to the year. And then they're 12-0 heading into the Pac-12 championship against presumably either Oregon State or Oregon. And you win that, you're 13-0 Pac-12 champion, and I think they get in no matter what. They're obviously, I'll get to that in the last 5 minutes, but I think it'd be very, very hard for you to leave them out as a 13-0 Pac-12 championship. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And then real quick before, because I want to get to the college football playoff rankings and what I think going to happen. Iowa versus Rutgers, 22-0. The over-under for this game was 28.5, and it hit, which is a beautiful thing. It's art. It's art in motion. And me and my friend always talk about this. When USC or UCLA have to go to Iowa on a cold November day, late October, 25 degrees outside, 30 degrees, all those guys from Southern Cal got to come up to Iowa and watch Iowa score 20 points and win the football game because they hold your offense to 10 points. It's going to be a shocker for USC or UCLA. Now, college football playoff rankings. I don't think anything will change in the top 4. I think Ohio State stays at 1. They had a nice win over Michigan State at home, 38-5 or 38-3. They could have ran that score over 35-3 at the end of the first half, but they kind of took out some starters. Also on that, Marvin Harrison Jr. should be in the Heisman race. He won't be, which is very, very stupid because it's a quarterback award, but he should be in the Heisman race. He's very good. Best wide receiver prospect I've ever seen personally. Georgia will stay at 2. Big win over Ole Miss. Michigan, yeah. Florida State, yeah. Like we say every week, I don't think anything's gonna happen until someone loses. I got a quick 3 minutes, so I'll just say what I think is gonna happen throughout the rest of the year. Now, the SEC championship is already locked in. It's Georgia, Alabama. If Alabama wins out, if they beat Auburn and they beat Chattanooga, because SEC sucks and they schedule FCS schools this late into the year, but they win out, and then if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship, I think one loss SEC champ Alabama gets in. The winner of that game, I think, will get in. SEC Georgia. Ohio State, Michigan. The winner of that game gets in as an undefeated Big Ten champ. So that's 2 seeds. If Florida State goes undefeated, they get in as an undefeated ACC champ. And then that leaves... Well, actually, I apologize. Because Florida State will be an undefeated ACC champ. Washington could be an undefeated Pac-12 champ. And then you could have one-loss Texas as a Pac-12 champ not Pac-12, Big 12 champ, who beat Bama in Bama. I think the committee's going to do, I just feel like Bama's going to find a way in. I don't know what's going to happen. The last 3 weeks are going to be very, very entertaining. Very, very entertaining, but it is very cool. They're 18th to have a legitimate shot to make the playoff, which is probably the most amount of teams that we've had going this late into the year. But yeah, that'll wrap up the show for this week. I hope you all enjoyed me rambling about football for the past hour. Now, time to watch the Bills hopefully destroy the Broncos. And next week, or no, not next week, we'll be on Thanksgiving break. The week after, Matt and Parker will be back, and we'll be talking about some college football rivalry week. And we'll have a lot of answers for the thing I just didn't have answers for. So, thank you guys, and go Bills.